Welcome to this week's episode of The Nero Show, presented by Join Cycling. In today's episode,
the truth about out-and-out aero bikes is starting to come to the fore, with the Seka Spear getting taken into the wind tunnel and tested. We chat through it all.
marketing versus reality. We go through the bikes that were released this year, what their claims were, and how they actually tested.
And finally, you are too slow and stupid for a carbon bike. That's why you should buy a steel one. We chat through it all. Let's get into it.
All right, Jesse, big episode, but before we get started, we've got a little bit of news.
Yeah, Nero suits here, 2026,
We're
new
here.
design.
Fantastic.
It's been, how long have we been testing this bloody thing for? 6 months?
6 months at
About
least.
That. So iterated it, prototyped it, changed the fabrics, changed them again, and redid the design. We worked with the designer here in Sydney to redo the design to take the Nero pattern, which we've used for the last few years, strip it back a bit, and make it probably a more mass appealing, but still have a nod to Nero in there. So it's that base pattern you can see with the, but stripped back sort of in a minimalist way. So we've got pre-dyed blue lycra on the bottoms, pre-dyed blue on the top with the pattern running through it. And this is the same skin suit that you tested in the wind tunnel. So it's got the tripped ribbed fabric on the sleeves. It's got a new higher quality leg lycra compared to the previous suit. Now, the previous suit's leg lycra was already really good. This is just another step up. Extremely soft, and it's just a laser cut gripper at the bottom with a custom Nero silicone on the inside to keep it in place. So just across everything's changed on the suit, fabric-wise. It's all improved. Based on feedback as well, we've gone to 3 rear pockets instead of 2. It still has the sugar flask pocket behind the neck, but we've removed the leg pockets just to make the suit faster. And that's why the suit is as fast as it is. Really, to be honest, not far off the Rule 28 Neo suit with an Aero bra on. You can go back, and I've put the Aero results in the listing, and you can go back and listen to that episode where we did the big Aero test about the results there. But yeah, super excited to have this in stock. This is the new design for 2026.
Sizes, quantities, limited.
Extra small, which not many people will be extra small.
No.
That's like very small, extra small. There's literally 3 extra smalls because not that many people will buy them. All the way to extra large. We have a height and weight chart in the description of the product. You can go and find out the ideal sizing. I just want to say something on this suit, because the pricing is still competitive. The price has gone up a little bit because it costs more to produce, and the time we've spent iterating it and taking it to the wind tunnel. But I challenge you, if you buy this suit, go and take it into your local shop and compare it to any other skin suit, any brand. Feel the leg lycra, feel the sleeve and the upper body lycra, look at the sleeve length and the leg length, take it all into account. This goes blow for blow with any other skin suit. Top of the range skin suit from any brand. So the price is still good value, but this goes neck and neck with literally any skin suit you can buy, both in terms of speed and also the actual quality of the lycra. So we are both like extremely proud of this, and this could easily be hanging in a shop.
100%.
And if you went into your shop and this was hanging on a hanger, I reckon the majority of people would pick this once they go and feel what the lycra feels like. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's good stuff. In terms of purchasing, we will hopefully have the integration live with the channel when this goes to air. So these items will be appearing in the actual YouTube video that you're seeing. Alternatively, there will be links in the description to these products if that hasn't quite come through at this point.
Yeah, shop.nero.club. That's the link. Pay in your local currency and free global shipping. I don't care where you are. We'll send it to you.
Get it out there. All right, Do It All bike in the tunnel. Josh is on there. He's ripping in the drops. Cycling news, tested it out. Seka Spear, give me some results.
Yeah, so when Seka released their Spear, the kind of always slightly better than an SL8 bike, they claimed in their white paper, which I gave them credit for at the time, paying quite a good amount of detail, that the weighted average CDA, which is that single drag number they give, with a stationary leg dummy was faster than a TCR, which is expected. Slightly slower, so 1.8 watts than an SL8. And They then put a rider on it, had them pedaling, and it was 1.3 watts faster than an SL8, which by the time you've got a rider on there, that's basically the same speed, and 6 watts faster than their old Exceed model. That's what they claimed. So all in all, it's about the same as an SL8. Cycling News take it into the wind tunnel. Josh is on there riding it. It is the 4th fastest bike Cycling News have tested. So you've got S5, Factor 1, Willio Volante SLR, and then bang, Seka Spear. Now that's taken some scalps. That's taken a Conago Y1 RS, an SL8, a Factor Ostro VAM, dusted them all off. Now there is error bars in this, but for the sake of to actually have a chat about this, we'll basically ignore the error bars. But yeah, it's one of the fastest it's in the top 5 fastest bikes they tested. A Chinese carbon bike with Chinese carbon number 6 wheels for a do-it-all bike that is lighter than the 3 bikes that it beat.
And with a gap over one of the world's, if not the world's fastest aero bike at 40 kilometers an hour of 3 watts with a rider on it.
Can I just talk for a bit?
Yep.
Because I got stuff to say about this. Because there's like 2 worlds here. We can sit here and just basically ignore the error bars, call the watts as they are. Now, this wind tunnel testing was at 40 kilometers an hour, and basically sit here and go, based off what the industry and the Western brands have been pushing us for, which is wind tunnel testing, we kind of have to say it's basically done. I mean, to go from a Seka Spear to, I don't want to pick on factory, let's pick on Cervelo. A Seka Spear to a Cervelo S5, to save 3 watts, you're getting a heavier bike that isn't as nimble, isn't going to feel as good out of the saddle, isn't going to accelerate as fast because it's heavier, and just isn't as comfortable. You've ridden both. Would you say
similarly comfortable?
Similarly comfortable. Okay.
I am going to say there are ride characteristics to the S5 which I preferred to the Seka Spear, but
such as
stability at speed, crosswind handling,
okay,
accelerating at speed, those things.
Accelerating at speed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. But the other things you mentioned,
but
definitely,
they're basically all aerodynamic properties, which I'm not taking your vibe check on the aerodynamic properties. Except for the crosswind stability.
Yeah.
I mean, how well it accelerates at speed is basically
fair enough. Okay.
Stiffness and weight.
But to me, crosswind stability is a key characteristic. But yeah. for the sake of argument,
across the board,
I think you're not far off.
Generally, the general consensus is a do-it-all bike rides better across the board, but isn't as fast as an aero bike. And so that's generally the toss-up.
I don't want to get stuck in the mud. I don't necessarily agree with you.
You'll
but
argue with anything.
Yeah, let's just move on.
Okay. Maybe that's it.
Maybe you need a different host for
lighter
that.
bikes that are generally more enjoyable. I don't really know. Most people enjoy lighter bikes and how they ride.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're literally going to move on. Okay.
Yeah, let's just move on.
So, my point was being, we got sold this wind tunnel speed. This is how many watts it saves. It's this many watts faster than last year's model. It's this many watts faster than this other bike. But if we are to believe that, we have to sit here and say that a Seka Spear is as fast as a Colnago Y1 RS.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what else are we supposed to say? The caveat to this is that, and this is my opinion, I don't believe that to be true. I believe that in actual fast conditions, when you're in a good position and you're up at 50 kilometers an hour, 55, that the difference between a do-it-all like a Seka Spear and a Cervelo S5 will be more than what we're seeing here. Now, obviously, it would be more than 3 watts because if you scale up 3 watts at 40 kilometers an hour to, let's say, 55, you're looking more at about 8 watts difference, which is still under the generally agreed upon perceivable. Generally, most experts say about 10 watts you can feel. So even an 8 watt difference of 55 kilometers an hour would be sort of much of a muchness, really.
Yep.
Now, I personally, and you also agree with me because we've chatted about this, that having ridden those bikes, you feel like there's more than a 3 watt difference at 40 or an 8 watt difference at 55. And I personally just, also having ridden a few of these different bikes and feeling that drag at higher speed, that in reality, an aero bike is going to save you more than what we're reflected here. But the problem is, I'm pulling all that out of my rear end.
Yes.
And the Western brands who have really relied on this wind tunnel testing, and we have too in the past, we're guilty of it, we call out these aero results, have kind of relied on this to judge how fast a bike is. But now they're in this awkward position where if the aero bike makers are honest with themselves, they must be sitting here going, no. Our bike's more than 3 watts faster than a Seka Spear. Are you drunk? But they haven't done enough homework or tested the frames aerodynamically in a way as to actually see those differences at the speeds that matter in the conditions that matter. So I know this might be a bit of a case for those that have watched the Nero show for a while where it's like, geez, you guys keep moving the goalpost. All you guys wanted was aero testing wind tunnel results. And now you've got them and you're saying, well, they're not lining up with where you are. And I definitely totally hear you, but I don't know what else to say other than the way that these results are kind of squishing all the bikes together, I don't feel, based on my experience, accurately reflects how fast these aero bikes are in faster conditions. But if someone said, oh, Jesse, should I get an aero bike or a dual bike? What should I, I'm going to buy a new bike. What should I get? Just get a do-it-all. It's done. Look at this. They're basically much of a muchness, except for the ones that are down the bottom of the cycling news test. The top ones are all within like 5 watts. Just to I'm going to sum this up in like 2 sentences. Option 1, the do-it-all bikes aren't meaningfully slower than the aero bikes, and so a Cervelo S5 and a Factor 1 are basically done. Just get not a Super 6, get a SL8 or a Seka Spear. Or there are actually bigger differences. It's just that a wind tunnel test at 40 kilometers an hour, or even we did 50, 50 kilometers an hour isn't enough to see it when you have a rider on it.
I will rely on my own personal experience of jumping between a number of these different bikes, and I will lean to number 2. Because in the experiences that I've had riding a do-it-all versus an aero bike, I have felt a difference. And I agree with you. I think to feel a difference, you've got to feel more than 10 watts. And that is the case for me. Now, I haven't ridden an SL8, so SL8 crowd, get up and get nasty, whatever. But I am in camp 2, Jesse, which I understand is a complete contradiction, because having gone from we need to see the results, give us the results, to I'm now talking about vibe, Jesse.
Yeah, you flip back.
I'm back on vibe.
Yeah.
I'm freewheeling turns. I'm holding at speed. I've come 360 because, I have an issue with this, especially having experienced a couple of these bikes that are towards the top end of this. All right, quick word from today's show partner, Join Cycling. Jesse, some new features. What's going on?
Join Cycling, the #1 AA cycling training tool to get you fitter, get your fitness up, stick towards your goals. Primarily, it's app-based. You go on, select your goal, and you're off training, ticking off your structured workouts, all set around your availability. That's the big thing. Put in your availability, some of your commutes, your bunch rides. It'll give you training around that fits in. One of their new features is Join Plan. So it's plan.join.cc. You go scan the QR code from the Join main app. And for people that want an extra level of detail, you can go on there. You can see further out what training is coming up. You've got all the training load metrics like the CTL and the TSB and the ATL. And just for people that wanted more data related to their plan, that's accessible now via Join's new beta feature.
Head on over to join.cc/Nero Show. You get 1 month free trial. That is without any payment required. No payment details even required. And you can rip in for a month, see if you like it or not, and go from there. All right, a big thanks to Join for supporting the Nero Show.
So I feel like the early 2026 position is, I don't really have a stake either way. If you're just following what the numbers show and what the brands have presented so far, your aero bike is done. Get a do-it-all. And if the brands are going to try and convince us, or that even the tone of that, or show that their more aerodynamic bikes actually make more of a difference, they're going to need to do something different.
Yep.
Because this let's just send our bike to Cycling News and stick it in a wind tunnel. Yep. It ain't bloody working.
Yep.
Because all it's convincing me is I should just get a Chinese do-it-all, and I'm just as fast. So that, where we've ended up now, I want to walk. I'm like, this is not really helping us.
No, it's not.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. And
if you believe that an aero bike actually has more difference. Maybe I'm completely lost my marbles, and a Seka Spear is basically as fast as an S5. Maybe it is. Sorry, I said something I didn't actually mean. Remember when I tested the Factor 1 and I got back on the Tevelo and I was like, it's about the same. I just said I believe that aero bikes are faster. I guess, can I just get my wording on the record?
Keep going.
Okay. I believe they could be faster.
Yes.
I also believe that they could not be faster. And there is a world in which an S5 and a Seka Spear is basically much of a muchness because you'd like bring one elbow in and it's basically the same. I don't know. I have a feeling, having ridden them more, you probably more in the camp that you really do believe in the aero bikes. I genuinely sitting here going, I don't even know anymore. Yep. That's actually what I think.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Okay.
I think that's fair. And the point that you made about Western brands having to prove this now, the aero bike thing is going to become more and more difficult because specialized, love them, hate them, market leaders, that new bike will be a do-it-all.
Yep.
And so it won't come with the specialized momentum of here's the aero bike, here's how much faster it is, here's why you need it. They're going to be selling the same package, a revamped, refined do-it-all. And so it's going to become even harder for Factor, Cervelo, Ridley to sell us the big chunked out aero bike. I realize what I'm saying makes me vomit slightly in the mouth, but I just think that's the truth.
You've also been speaking to Strom.
Yes.
Can we go into that? I think that's I want to chat about that right
Absolutely.
now. For those that remember, Strom released that UCI legal but spaceship looking razor thin aero bike quite a while ago. They've been taking their while to actually produce it. Can I say you're going to get one to test?
Yes.
Okay. They're sending one for Chris to test. And so there's a brand who I think has a challenge on their hands. Because if I just really surface level look at this, I go, okay, maybe it's faster than an S5 and a Factor 1. And if I'm like putting this in Cycling News terms, maybe it's like 1 or 2 watts faster, which still only makes it 4 or 5 watts faster than a Seka Spear. And so if I'm just following the numbers, I'm sort of going, okay, is that really, what's that actually saving me on the road? And so I think some of this is going to have to come from a brand like Strom to hold my hand.
Yeah.
Walk me through it. I need help here.
Yeah.
Because you've got this sort of dialogue with Strom about reviewing the bike. You sent them basically a bunch of these questions that we have about the Seka Spear results and the Cycling News test. And they have put what I think is a good reply in trying to flesh out some of these details about this aero testing stuff. What's the standout things?
Well, the first thing that been discussed is this idea of the human noise problem, okay? So that's basically with a live rider introduces a massive margin of error, which, okay, we know, but certain publications ignore. The 5-degree rule, even without a rider, changing the crank position by just 5 degrees can swing the results by 2 watts. When Cycling News claim a 2-watt accuracy, Strom sort of suggests that rider on test actually has a margin of error from 5 to 10 watts. The data shows one bike is 10 watts faster than another with a human rider. The real answer could be anywhere from -5 watts to +35 watts. It's essentially educated guesswork.
Yeah, and I'll just add to that because, and as we did when we went to the wind tunnel, you're creating those error bars by retesting within the same run. Test at 0, you do your sweep to all the angles and come back to 0. That's not Chris getting off the bike, walking around for 3 hours, coming back on, and then retesting the whole thing again. That would get you a better error number. You're only because you might put your hands on differently or your left socks changed height. So that's part of that, how that error is calculated.
The other point was this turbulence handicap. So most wind tunnels don't actually mimic the clean air. This is interesting.
Yeah.
The clean air of the real world. So you've got high versus low turbulence. Most tunnels have a greater than 0.5% turbulence. The real world, especially at the front of a pack, is closer to 0.05. So you have a leveling effect. High turbulence in a wind tunnel makes slow bikes look faster and fast bikes look slower.
I found this really interesting because I was always under the impression it was the opposite, in that wind tunnels were this controlled environment that was, I thought, less turbulent, and that out in the real world, you got gusts coming from here and there that you wouldn't see the difference. I thought that was always the argument, which was interesting. And then you had the likes of Cervelo with their wheels who were doing this turbulent air simulation in the wind tunnel. So like making the wind tunnel more turbulent, which seems strange, but okay. Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah.
And just off that, the results, this handicaps the best aero bikes, making the performance gaps between a budget bike and a super bike look much smaller than they truly are on the road. Okay?
All right.
Mannequins are better than humans. So
yeah,
to get around the wobble of a human rider, so a mannequin allows for an accuracy within 2 watts. Research shows that even non-pedaling mannequins provide a representative aerodynamic shadow that mimics a human's effect on airflow without the inconsistent movement.
Yeah, I agree. I wish we had done the mannequin instead of Chris Miller.
Yeah. So I suppose they're the 3 caveats to the wind tunnel testing.
Okay.
Huge error margins, turbulence handicaps, and then the human versus mannequin thing, right? Okay. So just specifically on the Seka Spear stuff, I'll read this bit verbatim actually. Okay. So bottom line, the Seka Spear probably a solid bike, but I think the probability that it is within 3 watts of an S5 is so low, I'd be willing to make a bet along those lines where I would eat a Seka if I'm wrong. The typical rider can feel a difference around 10 watts at 45 kilometers an hour, which as an aside is why our design goal was to be around that much faster than the competition. Without more data, if you can feel a difference between the two, there is probably at least 8 watts difference between them, and likely a fair bit more. That's in line with what I'd eyeball the Spear at. It's likely decently fast for an all-rounder, but almost certainly closer in performance to a tarmac than an all-out true aero bike like an S5. Also, measuring in watts at 45 kilometers an hour, it is also not a super flattering way of looking at an aero bike's advantage and can be discouraging. For example, my specialized Alley and my Cervelo S5 have about 10 to 15 watts at 45 kilometers an hour between them.
I found that interesting, but as in the case of essentially still the water is very muddy. And this is still kind of muddying it.
Yep.
Now we'll have to get through this to eventually, maybe in a few years, have a better system. Maybe cycling use. We'll move to a mannequin and test at higher wind speeds and come up with a way to really actually try and split the differences in the situations that matter. But for the time being, you're kind of left to either go one way and there's no difference, or this way, and I don't know. Yeah. Better than it was a few years ago, which was just, on a simulated course, it saves you 45 seconds. But
all right, well, someone comes to us now, February 2026, says, right, I'm buying a new bike, Jesse. Maybe a couple of fondos, might do a few crits, 300 watt FTP.
I have to say, yeah, to do it all.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that just out of spite. I mean, I genuinely have to say, just get to do it all. Because I'm not really seeing. How could I honestly say, oh, look, you really need to get an S5. You'll just notice such a difference. What number would I be pulling to say that? Vibe. I'm back to vibe, which doesn't get us anywhere. So I'm saying do it all. Yep. For me, the standout reason why I'm kind of like, this is the best we've got. And so if someone asks me, I'm going to give a recommendation based on it because it's all we got. But at the same time, there's clearly a way to improve this based on this one thing. If you look at the results, rider on bike, the Van Rysel RCR Pro, which is that do-it-all Van Rysel, is faster than the Aero model, which is fully chunked out. Now, not by much. They're within a watt of each other.
But why does the Aero bike even exist if it's the same? Like,
yeah. So
just
based on these results, you'd have to say those two bikes are the same speed, but one of them is a full-on chunked out Aero bike that was designed in a wind tunnel. And I do not believe, I'll say this, I do not believe those two bikes are the same speed when you're actually in a situation where aerodynamics matter. And so the fact that those two in this test are coming up the same, something's going on here that's not working. And there's got to be a better way. So I thought after that, what would be interesting is we did talk about the Willier Falante SLR Cycling News tested and how it compared to theirs. Oh, did you?
Mm-hmm.
Looking good on the road?
Oh, yeah.
What's it like?
Oh, fast.
So I thought I'd go through bikes released in the last year. What did they claim? Mostly aerodynamically in their release. And then what does the testing show? Does it line up or is it total?
Yep. Yeah, let's do it.
So Van Rysel RCRF, that's their chunked out aero bike. It's 13. They said it's 13 watts faster than the original RCR at 45 kilometers an hour. And that such performance places it amongst the most aerodynamic bikes in the peloton, likely the best. Then Tour Magazine tested it at 200 watts compared to 207 watts for the regular RCR.
Okay.
Now, Cycling News tested it, and with a rider on it, they were the same speed. But in the bike-only test Cycling News did, the Aero one was 7 watts faster. Like that Aero one was right near the top.
Yep.
So I'd probably say, if I'm looking at this, the Cycling News rider on bike test had something funky going on. And 200 watt Tour Magazine is fast. So I'd say overall that claim versus what's that actually looked like. Fair.
Approved?
Seems to check out. Coil approved.
Okay.
Gets a stamp. Here or there.
Graphic incoming.
Cervelo S5. 6 watts faster than last year's bike, they claimed.
Yep.
Cycling News has it exactly 6 watts faster with a rider on it.
Yes.
Tour Magazine had it 2 watts slower.
That's right.
Okay.
Remember that.
But we tested the wheels. And their new wheels alone are, depending on the tyre, 2 to 3 watts faster. You could easily see a couple of tweaks to the frame, the handlebars, a bit nicer. Save a couple watts there. I'm seeing 6 watts. I think Tour Magazine, something funky's gone on there. And so I'm saying Cervelo S5 checks out.
Cha-ching!
Yep.
Approved.
It does. So, and you can see, we're going to go through this. This is the interesting thing. In a lot of these testing, there's like one outlier.
Yeah.
It'll be Cycling News or Tour Magazine.
This is good.
And I think this is probably how we might get there. Just send this bike to 8 different things.
Needs to go to
and
everyone.
we'll average them. Next one, Willier Falante SLR ID2 is one we talked about.
This had big claims.
Yeah, so the brand claims that with the rider, the bike at 45 kilometers, with a rider at 40k an hour, 14 watts faster than the old bike with the Aero kit bottles, and 11.5 watts faster without it. And they also said direct comparisons with 5 competitor bikes shows the Falante to have an average aerodynamic resistance coefficient. It's 2.4% better than the 5 nearest top of the range well-to-a competitive. Okay, so you're sort of going, okay, so 14 watts faster with a rider and 2.4% less resistance. Okay, well, it's a bit confusing, but all right. Tour Magazine had the old frame at 210 with zips, but they haven't tested the new bike. But 210 is already not too bad. So I'm sort of
It's in the
going
area.
struggling to see how the Willier's getting down the 200 range. So we're sort of instantly you're going, oh, it's going to be tough to get, you're saying more than 10 watts at 45k an hour. And they're claiming 14 watts at 40 kilometers an hour. Ooh. Cycling News tested it as the top of all the bikes, basically, besides the two spaceships, Factor 1 and the S5. So overall, I'd say that 14 watt claim isn't backed up by the Cycling News test. If the old bike was sort of mid-pack in the Cycling News test, and then you compare it to this one, you'd be looking at 4 to 5 watts gain.
Yep.
40 kilometers an hour. So I'm putting that in the, you've really pulled one of the most extreme few numbers. And then you've put one in watts, and then you've put compared to the competitors as percent.
Percents of drag.
Interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's a smaller number.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm putting this in, this stinks.
Okay.
It's got a fishy smell. And just also, if you go read that actual white paper on that thing, it's so confusing. They've got, as I said, things in watts, things in percents, with rider, without a rider, percent faster than this. I honestly I'm reading it getting a headache. So I think Willier, it's an F fail on that one. I think they've purposely overstated it. Seka Spear, which we just talked about. I went through all that previously. They claimed it to be about the same, maybe a little faster than an SL8. And Cycling News had it, about the same. So that all checks out, and they did it very transparently in their white paper. So currently, we've gone through 4.
Cha-ching.
3 of them have been good.
Mm-hmm.
One of them's been a dog. Argon 18 Nitrogen Pro.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna read some good stuff for you. The system underwent 3 separate wind tunnel test sessions throughout the development of the project. As part of one of these test sessions, the final product was tested against the Sun Pro and against a competitor's flagship dedicated aero bike, which we call World Tour Competition aero bike. The results below was tested both with a pedaling rider and with a static mannequin legs, and then they just provided the yaw angle graph with no weighted average of the yaw angle, so we don't have a wattage difference. Right. We're kind of looking at
some lines,
random gaps on a graph, which I can't even tell you what the wattage is. So if you just look at the graph, you go, oh, it's to some degree faster than an unknown competitor's bike, which doesn't give us anything. They don't say what that competitor is. And also in this release, you'll remember they claim this whole system thing. It's faster in the wheel world, not just designed to be faster in the wind tunnel, which to give them credit was designed around a 30mm tire, comes with scopes. That wasn't all total bullshit. Cycling News test it, and it's mid-pack, right around a air road and a foil. Overall, I think fair. They didn't really make any claims that it's outrageously faster. So it was all kind of, if you don't make outrageous claims, you can kind of get away with an average result. Because what can you get angry about? You're not buying the Argon 18 Nitrogen Pro because you think you're just going to be freewheeling turns to shop. Like, that's not what they claimed. So that also gets a pass. Chinelli Aero Scoop.
The scoop.
Yeah. Their aero claims was basically just quoting a tour magazine number of 205 watts. But that was a bit dodgy because they did it with the Conti Aero tire and a zip wheel in the rear and then this other wheel in the front, which is a bit dirty. With the Zip 404s, it was 208 watts tour magazine. So that's what they put out there. Cycling News tested it, and it's a complete dog.
Oh, dear.
It's the slowest. The Chinelli Aeroscoop was the slowest in their test. Not as slow as the Emonda reference bike, but the slowest in the test. But it had Mavic Cosmic S42s, which are awfully slow wheels aerodynamically. And when they put the Envies on, it was 3.5 watts faster with Envies, and the Envies aren't the fastest wheel. If you'd put some of the better wheels on that come with the Cube or the Argon, like the scopes, you'd be saving 4 or 5 watts. So just to summarize that, even with new wheels, it's still not SL8 speed. You sort of still, even if you give it the benefit of the doubt and put 4 or 5 watts on it, in the Cycling News test, you're still 3 to 5 watts slower than an SL8. 208 watts tour magazine is about SL8 speed. And so maybe it's gotten a bit dogged with the Cycling News test. So I don't know. Overall, I'm thinking they're there or thereabouts. I can't really get too upset. So that's the comparison. Actually, if you actually sort of look at a lot of this, then remember, this is bikes released in the last 12 months, so there's definitely more outrageous stuff if I went back further. But across the board, given how much of a grain of salt you're taking with a lot of this aero testing, most of them are pretty there or thereabouts.
Yeah.
Can I just hit on another point again? Now I've gone through that. You can kind of see the problem. Are you on the same track that I'm going? Because we can sit here now and go, well, actually, a lot of these aero claims from the marketing stuff, when you really sit and go through them, is not outrageous. The problem is that it's now just this race to the bottom of trying to beat the majority of the competition so that someone will buy your bike over their bike. That's it. It's just, can I convince someone to buy a Cannondale over a Specialized? There's not a lot of energy, I feel, going into should I buy an aero bike or a do-it-all bike, and kind of fleshing out that whole part of the spectrum. It's now just beat the competition. And that's getting cleaner, but it's not helping us, really.
No. And when it becomes, am I as fast as an S5? Essentially, that's seemingly all the aero bikes try to do now. It's like, try to be as fast as World Tour leading aero bike. We all know what that is.
Mm-hmm.
Then it just becomes this, it's like a lowest common denominator challenge. Like, can you just pass? Can you just pass?
Yep.
And, I mean, that's one of the things I'm kind of excited about with the Strom is they're not trying to do that. They're trying to blow the S5 out of the water. But, so it's just it's like a safety in numbers thing now. I don't know.
Cycling YouTube. Good interview here. So this is My Bike Parts YouTube channel, and he's interviewing one of the guys from Light Carbon factory in Xiamen about their design process, quality control, the price of Chinese carbon frames, and those sorts of things. So I wanted to just pick through some of the key things he said, and we can chat about them because I thought it was quite interesting. So the first thing was about 7 minutes into the interview, the host starts asking him about innovations. How do you come up with a new design? What do you actually do? And he's basically just,
what are the other boys doing?
He literally said, one of our female staff members goes to the other factories and see what everyone else is doing, and we copy them. We look at what the Western brands are doing and we copy them, and we try and use that as get a feel of which way the wind's blowing and come up with a new design. For example, he even specifically mentioned a brand. He said later in the interview when they were talking about down tube storage, that Santa Cruz were doing down tube storage on their gravel bike.
Yep.
Oh, sorry. I think it was maybe their mountain bike, and that Light Carbon then said, down tube storage, Santa Cruz are doing that. Cool. Could we do this on a gravel bike? And copied that. And I thought, like, whether you like that or you don't like that, a brand like Light Carbon isn't pretending that they're innovating new frontiers of design. They're basically straight up admitting we're just going to pull what the market wants and what other brands are doing and just try and do it cheaper, even if it's heavily inspired or straight up ripoff of another brand. Like, for example, their new LCR, it's the 018, which is their endurance bike, has the whole wind eye thing.
Oh, yes.
That's that bike that has the seat tube, seat stay junction with a wind eye.
Yep.
Just straight ripped from Seka. And they've gone, we've seen it.
Works.
Seems to work. And we're going to do it. And I don't know. I don't know if you, maybe you'll know, but maybe you agree with it, disagree with it, like it, don't like it, but it's not hiding it. He's just said, we go and copy stuff.
Where does Light Carbon sit in the I mean, we talk a lot about Chinese brands, but Light Carbon's not, it's not WindSpace. It's not Quick Pro.
No.
This is...
I was a bit confused with this as well. And I asked this to Joe because I was like, Light Carbon sell, and I'll get onto the pricing of frames in a moment, that's their own brand, but they sell cheap frames, like sub $1,000 frames.
It's like an Alibaba stuff.
not full Alibaba. I'll get onto that in a sec, but they're cheap. They're not selling $2,000 frames. They're no Seka. I was sort of asking, it seems like a weird business. Like how is there so much profit? How is there enough profit to generate this whole brand to sell at a $700, $800 frame? I don't get it. Apparently the margin is still there to make that profitable. And he said they're not a big OEM supplier. They do have some OEM clients, but they're not, like Quick Pro, for example, is
making frames.
Huge frames. Their actual production of the Quick Pro is a smaller part of their business. For Light Carbon, the actual Light Carbon brand is a pretty big part of their business, which is kind of interesting. Later in the interview, the interviewer says, okay, so you watch the competition, but the competition frames might be 4 times, 5 times the price. Is there a quality difference within that? And he says, so the frames aren't the same quality as a Specialized, for example. Specialized was used as an example. So he straight up says, we're not Specialized quality. But then he goes, we're not trying to match that. Light Carbon are trying to get as close as possible to a Specialized frame for a sub $1,000 budget. And interestingly, he says, we don't believe $500 frame, fork, handlebar, seat post packages, so $500 or less, which is like your AliExpress price, is possible to maintain quality at all. Because less than $500, by the time you factor in the material, labor, the quality control and the testing and the packaging, it's just impossible. And interestingly, how they would get to that is by using cheaper carbon.
Yep.
So they use the Toray carbon fiber, which all the big brands used. He was like, well, sub $500 frames, you won't be getting Toray carbon. No. You're getting Chinese branded carbon, or sometimes even fiberglass.
Yep.
And that Toray carbon fiber, who's giving an example, it might be $20 to $30 per square meter, but a Chinese brand of carbon might be $5 to $10 per square meter. And he reckons a frame needs about 10 square meters. So if I do the maths there, that means materials would be $50 to $100 for your Chinese carbon supplier. That's how you're able to get the whole thing under $500. Toray, he did say he was using this example. I don't know if this is the exact price, but it was more like $20 to $30. So you're looking at $200 to $300 just in the cost of Toray carbon fiber. Yeah. So that's the lower end. Can't really do sub $500 properly. And then for the upper end, he did say that for a Chinese brand, over $1,000 is overpriced.
Okay.
Which is interesting. So
he would say that.
Your 1,500 brand, he would say that because he's focused on sub 1,000. But essentially, the frame price isn't going up that much when you go to the likes of a Quick Pro or a In Color. That a lot of it is marketing costs or the R&D stuff, or sending it out to teams and stuff like that. That's
a little bit harder to swallow, given 2 seconds ago he was just telling us that they're walking around other factories going, oh, that looks good, we'll have a crack at that. Yeah, but okay, I see the point. All right.
Yeah, when you don't... Yeah, when you're not actually... When your frame design is basically one person sitting there just pulling parts from other bikes, over there? Whereas you've got... there's definitely a other side to this chat. I'm just sort of... It was interesting to go through the numbers. Yeah. And then labor time. So he reckons it takes him about 2 hours to make a frame.
Oh, that's interesting.
Where I think that included the QC process as well. And that for the cheaper frames, so they included video at the end, and so they'll get the finished frame, and it screw the tolerance tools in, and then you're checking like how aligned the dropouts are and all that. Whereas cheaper factories don't really do any of that, or they'll do 1 in 100 frames or something. So that's where part of the cost comes in. I know Hambini is pretty big on the light carbon stuff. I think he's actually he's been reviewing one of the light carbon frames, but it's an interesting. I'm already getting the vibe of where you stand on it, but you've got this company that just admits that they pretty much steal other designs, and that admits that they're not specialized quality, And also by quality, you're thinking like, oh, is it more dangerous? I don't think so. It's just like they don't have time to strip back layers of fiber in a tube and like that. It's that. It's like, so the frame might be slightly heavier or slightly less stiff, or because they're using there might be in a specialized frame, they might have a layer of a higher modulus carbon fiber, which is slightly more expensive. So it's not like when he says it's slightly less quality, I feel like he should have probably explained that more. Because people really go, oh, that's kind of dangerous. It's not quite as
when you say we're 90% the quality of specialized, does that mean there's 10% chance it fails?
Yeah,
because that's where my brain goes straight away. But I don't think that's the case.
No.
I actually found, I mean, the interview was interesting. I love the factory tour stuff. I love to be able to visualize where this stuff is coming from, and it's far more. Just quickly, sorry, it's far more officey than factory-ish. I was quite impressed personally. I think you do forget what a handmade production bikes really are still to this day. But yeah, I mean, I'm not anti this by any stretch of the imagination. Okay. I think I would love to see these sort of interviews and pieces from all kinds of brands.
I liked it because it is cool to see there is still brands that are firmly, no, we're in the $800, $900 US range, and we're gonna keep trying to get as close as possible to anything you're gonna buy from a Western brand, even if that means, copy a few things here and there. Okay. I don't know. I get less thing at that because you look at a Western, you look at the Chinelli's also got the wind eye thing. So the Western brands quite often copy features anyway. So I feel like it's a bit of a sort of a glass houses shouldn't throw stone situation a lot of the time. And a lot of people are copying each other's homework. At least they're honest about it.
Yeah. Junior Racers bike? Is that what you're seeing here?
I really... their website is still...
Yeah, I know.
Like, you go and look at the product, and it'll send an email inquiry. It's not a web shop.
I know.
So...
I don't like it either.
It's really frustrating because it's... you're kind of going, well, you're cheaper, but you're also total slop. I can't just order it. I got to, email someone about it. And it's like, well, could you charge, $50 USD per frame more and make it easier to buy? Well, I don't want to WhatsApp message someone, Light Carbon Jane, and say, "Oh, look, so how do I get this? Like, what are we doing?
Yeah,
there's cost cutting, and then there's how do we even buy this stuff?
And I mean, you're not going to buy your son or daughter this bike with this procedure. If you ultimately, I would argue that the end result, the bike that Johnny gets to ride, is going to probably be vastly superior to the similar priced TCR spec from the local giant shop. But that workflow of buying the bike and feeling secure by the purchase and everything else that comes with it of putting your Johnny on the little bike, on this bike, is vastly superior to what this procedure is, which is kind of sad.
It is. It's true, and I also still think the branding's a problem.
Oh yeah.
I mean, let's say who can we go? Like you got, maybe this would be Max Man rides it. Someone's been in the sport for Max has been in a while, but you've been riding for a year. You started on a secondhand bike or something. And you go, okay, I want to get into the carbon frame bike. I sort of know what I want, so I'll do a custom build. Oh. Do I want to ride around with the light carbon branding? I mean, I think most people would say, can I pay a bit more and get an actual brand?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know maybe that's too hard or costs too much to actually have a brand. But again, it's just like the branding always lets this stuff down because you're really making a statement to ride around with light carbon. I mean, yeah, it doesn't work. Public service announcement, quick break for my friends at Pillar.
Our friends.
Genuine question. If you're listening to my voice right now, have you tried Pillar Performance yet?
Wow.
The triple magnesium. I gave an anecdote a couple of weeks ago about how there was a very skeptical rider I know, and he thought, I'm not going to try it. Oh, it sounds too good to be true. I don't know. It's magnesium. Gets a bag for Christmas, tries it, and goes, I'm sleeping much better. I should have done this 2 years ago. If you're someone that hasn't tried Pillar, try it once. Go and use code Nero at checkout, 15% off. Get the triple magnesium. Take it 30 minutes before you go to bed for a few weeks. It might help you. It might not. You don't have to buy it again. But if you haven't tried it and you ride your bike a decent amount, why haven't you? What are you waiting for? Literally costs, depending on where you are. If you're in the US, it goes through the feed. If you're in Australia, you can buy it direct from the shop. Anywhere from, let's say, depending on your currency, $30 to $65 once. It's a no-brainer.
Give it a go. Use code Nero at checkout, 15% off. Why not? See how it goes.
See, because we come on to do this ad read, and we can sit here and tell you all the benefits, but why do we need to tell you? Just buy it once.
Right.
If it works, great. If it doesn't, no good, no commitment. So why we don't need to do an ad read.
No.
We'll just tell you to buy it.
Exactly. Yeah, just go and try it. All right, let's rip through some dogs or fast bikes. Jesse Coyle, rugby player turned CrossFitter turned cyclist. All right, we'll go through the bike first. Here we go. Oh dear. It's a 2025 LA Sprint build. LA Sprint frame, size 56 with carbon fork, S-Works tarmac carbon seat pokes, 20 mil offset, Roval Rapid 38s, SL7 future stem, 110 mag cam headset adapter, Stellar Italy SLR boost. He's running a SRAM Force Axis setup, wheels manufacturing bottom bracket, Supercaz bar tape, mag CAD Varia mount, rally pedals. Wheel set is a Vita Lesico Espresso. 58 front, 60 rear, 25 internals. Very light. 1,345 grams, GP 5000s, 30 mils with Silka sealant. Total weight 7.75. If she's a dog, give me an Instagram shout out at least. Gordon Garage Gym. All right. There it is. How can I sell you on this?
Yeah, good luck.
How can I sell you on this? Scottish roads. He's up in the Scottish Highlands. So he's a rugby player, turned CrossFitter, 30 years old, 179 centimetres, 76 kilos.
Who's he watched?
Yeah, this is the concern.
So
where's this influence?
you're kind of new to the sport.
Is this Instagram Reels?
Committed to the cycling for 3 years or so. And you've gone, I'm looking for a new bike. Now, obviously, you couldn't have watched us before you bought this.
No.
So you've watched someone else.
You've watched someone else.
Someone told you this was a good idea. Maybe. Do you reckon it could be the person? I reckon this is a local shop stitch up. You've gone because you've got a specialized shop locally, and they've gone. Oh, you're a bigger bloke. You're strong. Ex-CrossFitter. So you want something more solid, and they've just sold you this. Because I just don't understand where does this come from? How do you end up on this?
So you've been sold on the CrossFit, gym, strength, medal.
Yeah.
Yes. That's what you need.
Yeah. Like your carbons for those skinny Tour de France dudes.
I'm not that.
No.
I'm flirting with a bit of high rocks.
Yeah.
So I might sort of, do this. Just quickly, what's going on the down tube here, just in front of the D on Specialized? Is that a regular join that's happened there? Are you seeing that?
The welds.
The weld?
Wouldn't happen on a steel bike. I thought Specialized moved to like smart weld.
What's going on with that? It's like someone put putty.
2025 LA Sprint. I swear they used to have smooth welds on the LA.
It used to be cleaner than that.
Yeah.
That's poor.
Yeah, that's...
No.
Even down at the near the bottom, near the rear derailleur there. Look at all that. This is...
the wheels intrigue me. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah,
hang on to the wheels.
No.
Keep the wheels.
Yeah.
Get rid of that piece of shit. And
Garmin rally pedals. What are you doing?
You're in the Scottish Highlands, for God's sake. Come on. Gordon Garage Gym. Get in there. Rip in some high rocks box jumps. Bike 2 is a 2020...
So it's a dog of a bike.
Oh, it's a dog of a bike. Sorry. The Scottish dog.
It's not even a particularly good build, I hate to say.
No, it's a Scottish Terrier, that one. This is a 2024 S-Works Tarmac SL8, size 56, in marble dune white colour with matte black decals. Full SRAM red E1, 170mm cranks. He's got some ceramic speed bottom bracket in there. He's got a 50-37 power meter chainring and some Durace pedals. 1036 insert sponsored reed Silka waist chain. Jesse Coil Tavello Aero bars, 36 wide, 120 stem. No spaces here, and the hoods are, of course, turned in. S-Works power saddle, 2025 Zip 353 NSWs with his 30mm GP 5000 and a 32 at the rear, set up tubeless, beautiful. And he will be looking at tyre pressure.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, fantastic.
Yep.
Ceramic bearings, bladed spills, steel spokes, fantastic. Weight as you see it is 6.8 from Brizzy, but he now lives in Switzerland. Oh, hang on, he's on the Swiss roads. Fantastic. 24 years old, 72 kilos, FTP around 330, 340. And we might need an assessment. But there it is. There it is. There it is.
The Trainer Road AI FTP?
Just, well, by the look of those Paz Normal bottles, I'd suggest definitely some AI detection going on when it comes to his FTP. I don't know which way you're going to go here.
I'm a sucker for the SRAM zip thing. I know. I should have my gripes with the Zip 353s, but I mean, look at it.
Mm.
They
really.
I do
look
really
nice.
want to ride this bike. Yeah, I can't. And look, like super thin spokes. These wheels would handle really well.
Oh, snappy.
The sawtooth, they would be snappy.
Snappiness.
You wouldn't feel a crosswind ever. Yeah,
clean.
Yeah.
Look, as I've mentioned, we get a lot of S-Works SL8 entries.
Yeah.
Few make the show, but when I saw this clean build, is there anything we can pick out?
No,
that's lovely. I like that bike.
Even you could probably go, oh, but if that had a carbon spoked 60mm, this would just the vibes on this,
it's the vibes,
the ride quality,
beautiful.
Yep.
Fast bike. And we'll just continue on this thread for one more bike.
Okay.
2023 S-Works Tarmac SL7.
Oh.
Build size 54, Durace, 12-speed 5236, Durace cranks, 4i power meter, BB infinite bottom bracket. People keep putting their bottom bracket in. Wouldn't give a shit. Doesn't mean nothing to me. Absolutely nothing. Ceramic speed pulley wheels, Durace pedals, some C50 wheels, Conti GP 5000s with TPU tubes, Stellar Italia carbon boost saddle, 90mm S-Works stem, 40mm Rovel rapid bars. He's got his waxed Durace chain, 160mm rotors, total weight with pedals, cages, radar mount, and computer mount, 16.4 pounds, which is, I think, around 7 kilos.
There's your comparison. This is a dog. I'm going straight in.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah. So this is actually interesting. So you've got, this is your Shimano package, you dinosaurs. You're on this slot machine.
Yeah.
TP, you're back to clinches with tan, what is this?
Yeah.
Not 2012.
Yeah.
Tan sidewalls with tubes. And this bloke's got zips with a quark. He's reading tire pressure. You're getting the braking, one finger braking, pinky braking. He's left you for dead. No.
And look, I'm on record. I'm a big fan of the high stack program, but come on, that's a friggin' Dubai skyscraper sticking out of the top of your headset there, and that's an outrage. You've just got the wrong bike size at that point, unfortunately. Sorry, that's a dog, and SL7
I wouldn't even say
owners-
bike because he's got a 90mm stem. I think you've got the wrong bike category.
Yeah,
You need the old Defy spec.
you do. That's a dog. Bike 4. I'll come back to the remit. We will get to the actual bike first. 2025 Super 6 High Mod 2 Gen 4, size 45. Holy crap. 90mm stem, but with a Lombardia tuning X-Wing, 33 centimeter bars, which are 40 centimeters at the drops. Super easy to get tucked in an Aero. 9 Velo CD 45mm 1200 gram wheels. Continental archetypes with Seka sealant. You will be needing that sealant. Galfers, 160, 140.
Rotors. Yep.
Seka wax chainring. Ultegra 5236. Asioma Duo She. Meter pedals. Ultegra 1134. Perpetual C10 cages.
Virtual. That's a Tavello.
Virtual, sorry.
People are just putting Tavello nods in, try and get across the line.
So he's got his fairly light bike. That is over. Yes. Did you give a weight here?
Yeah, 7.37 with
7.37. Sorry, 7.37. So Joe is 39 from New York.
Why is that so heavy? It's a size 48 with a 1,200 gram wheel set. Oh, he's got sensors. What do you mean sensors? Take the sensors off.
Where's the weight come from?
7.37 kilos. So that's 7.17 no pedals on a size 48 high mod with 1,200 gram wheels. I don't often say this. I think you can recalibrate the scales.
It's got archetypes.
Yeah, that doesn't.
Galfers are light as well, aren't they?
Yeah.
No, I don't know what's going on there.
Up.
That's slightly confusing.
Well, can I add something? These like Aero random aftermarket handlebars are so lame.
Their day has come and gone.
They're just stop watching Dylan Johnson. Don't run. Just they help me get the pos. Yeah, but you look like a complete. Shouldn't say that.
I have to cut that one out.
Just bleep it. Yeah, it's too much time on forums. No, instantly I'm just going, oh,
it's
really?
not 2017. No, you don't need those bars. Sorry. That's unfortunate.
And I don't mind the build even. I mean, I just don't understand the weight. You've done all this to end up with a above 7 kilo bike in a size 48. Not far off Chris's S5 weight.
Yeah. 200
grams lighter. Something's gone wrong here.
Something's happened.
Yeah.
No, there's factory issues. Yeah. Could be a recall on this one, unfortunately.
Because you've got super light cages. It's all.
Yeah.
The specs are all there.
I've ridden full on Aero bikes, Scott Foil RC and the Windspace T1500, T1550 first gen. And he's got an SL8 as well. Yeah, he's got a Tarmac SL8 as well. I mean, you're just never riding this bike. What does this bike exist for? Why is this in your quiffer? When are you choosing this?
No, he says, I've ridden them.
No, I didn't know whether to submit my custom specialized Tarmac SL8.
Oh, right. Okay. Oh, he said that earlier on. Okay.
No, that's an unfortunate dog. You know, we don't see many Cannondale dogs.
No, you've done, it's difficult to dogify a Super 6.
But that, however, is barking. We move on. Greetings from Japan, long-time listener of the show. Right. Oh, he's coached by... Sorry, hang on. Let me just read the bike out first. It is a frame kit, is an Envy Melee, 56 centimetres, stem 130, handlebar 40 centimetres. Wheels are Envy SES 3.4s with the Michelin Pro 5s. Interesting. Group set SRAM 12-speed Force, Red and Rival mix, 165 cranks, quark power meter. Seka bottle cages. Weight, I don't know. Never cared before it, so doesn't bother him now. 8 kilos is his guess. Cares more about his body weight. Fantastic.
Because he's 129 kilos.
He's 129 kilos.
So, okay, fair. You just go, oh, what's the bike? Make a difference.
He's come down from 146 with the help of Gemini. He's on the Gemini weight program.
Oh.
Fantastic. He wants a bomb-proof bike, can ride it through potholes,
He's on
jump steps, dodging dogs.
35C tyres, Michelin Pro 5s.
I mean, this would be a delight to churn miles out.
So,
Absolute delight.
the criteria is it's let's be honest, it's the fat boy bike.
Mm-hmm.
This is how you get in shape.
Yep.
Wider tire.
Yep.
Because you're heavier.
Yep.
Comfort.
Yep.
Your flexibility is going to be an issue most likely. Generally, if you're heavier, so you've got the Malay, bit more stack, and you just churning Ks until the weight comes down.
Yep.
And he's down, what, 15 kilos?
Massive, good solid bottle cages, can hang on to a nice 3-litre bottle there quite happily. You can just churn it around, churn a gear around. Nice accurate power meter, monitoring proceedings. Perfect use case. Maybe a little mixed terrain around the area in Japan. Very jealous.
And you've put 35s in. See, I like that. That at least it makes sense for the Malay.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, fantastic.
I'll give it.
Fast bike. Final bike is a Chapter 2 Toa, size medium. Chapter 2 Mana Bar, 110, 37 in the hoods, 42 in the drops. Wheels are XM carbon speeds. They're your 20 carbon spoked wheels. Tyres GP 5000s with Stans sealant. Shimano cranks. Wishbone ceramic bottom bracket. Fantastic. Don't care. Shimano Dura-Ace 1134. These Di2. It's got a whole different spec. Rear mechs are 105. Front mechs Ultegra. Brakes are 105s. Pedals are Ultegra. Shimano Asioma Duo Shi. They're the older versions. Okay.
Yeah. Q Factor gate.
Q Factor gate. 7.9 as pictured.
Okay.
A little bit older than me. 79 kilos. 177. So he's a couple of centimeters taller than me. FTP 327. Hogan 20-minute protocol outdoors. Okay. What'd you do reps a Kutha? So from the UK in Brisbane since 2023. Lifetime mountain biker. This is interesting. A lifetime mountain biker. Been riding road for the last 2.5 years.
Yes.
Also has a steel bike, which I've thrown.
Have you ridden this bike?
Yes.
What's the vibe?
So between this and the Coco, I vastly preferred this bike.
What is it?
It's a do-it-all.
Okay.
It's a not very light do-it-all.
Okay.
But to be fair, it's not new. This is 4 years old, maybe 5 years old.
Yeah.
But this bike wasn't particularly fast, but it knew what it was trying to be.
I'm going back to Tour Magazine. I'm done with cycling news. What would a Tour Magazine give us a number? Mannequin. Ooh. It's the year of the mannequin.
The year of the mannequin. I would suggest faster than a Miele.
Okay. 218.
Slower than a Cannondale Super 6.
Yep.
Somewhere in there.
215?
This is the best bike Chapter 2 have made.
Okay.
Yeah. Chapter 2 have a bit of a thing going in Brisbane, actually. They must have had a really good retailer at some point.
Yeah.
There's a thing up there with Chapter 2s. They're not particularly light. A lot of that's just because of the paint job. They slap on a heap of paint. It's quite pretty in real life. I don't like the Mana bars. I'm on record as saying that they're very old school in their design. Not a massive fan of them and not particularly stiff. But that, to me, isn't going to kill this bike off.
All right.
Really comfortable. I mean, I swapped turns quite happily on this. It was fast enough. Never won a race on it.
The wheels fit.
Yeah.
You
Maybe I'm getting soft in my old age. But here's the problem. He owns a steel frame. See the steel frame bike there pictured?
Let me just hold on. Oh, okay. Oh.
So, I mean, I suppose that's very all-roady, isn't it? He's got the 40 mils on there.
Were you going to try and say there's steel
I was
bikes
trying to
eating
think,
his
well,
lunch?
yeah, is there enough of a distinction between the two?
There'd be a weight difference.
There'd be a big weight difference, wouldn't there? Yeah.
There'd be an aerodynamic difference.
And that geometry looks slop on the steel frame. No, let's ignore the steel frame.
Okay.
I think that's a pretty cool bike. Yeah, I rate it.
All right.
I rate it. That's a fast bike.
Cool.
Now, speaking of steel frame bikes, Jesse, can I just quickly read out a comment from last week's episode? Steelgate.
Okay.
This is from Devlin Cycles, steel frame builder in Brisbane.
Okay.
I'm not angry. Thanks for popping my name. I enjoyed making that bike and was a little sad when Chris stepped onto us. Blah, blah, blah. There is a lot we can do with the tubes with different butting profiles and diameters, and even aero profiles are available. We can easily design a bike to be a noodle through to as stiff as a tank. Lots of customization can be done to how a bike rides. What I think gets lost in the discussion is what defines the best bike for someone. You guys have been dancing around the subject a bit lately, and it needs to be talked about. The number of people you see riding around in horrific positions on bikes they bought purely for the perceived benefit on street cred in a race setting, something that has future aero features, etc., is going to always get the nod, and the low weights achieved by the carbon process is hard to ignore when you are talking climbing, etc. But for the vast majority of us who just ride with mates and race at an amateur level, a well-riding, confidence-inspiring, perfect-fitting bike is going to be a better bike, even if it's X watts slower due to aero. If it was an USGCN, you bet you can be sure a US frame builder would have got the nod. I applaud they picked something that wasn't a virtual F1 off the cycling world, as it would help the punters lower their eyes to bikes that are more in line with what they actually need and will benefit their riding more than buying the latest aero beast.
This is it is literally, what's the correct logical fallacy? Is it a straw man? Yeah, it's a red herring. A debate tactic where a speaker redirects the conversation to an irrelevant topic to avoid answering a difficult question. Is it a red herring? Because no one's saying you should buy no one who's saying, oh yeah, you should buy an aero bike that doesn't fit you. Literally no one in the history of cycling has ever said that. You should just buy a good bike that also fits you. So buy a bike that fits you and gets you in a good position. Number one. Could be made out of tissue paper. Then the next thing is, what's the best bike I can get for my needs across the board that also gets me in that position? And that's basically always carbon. Like a steel bike is inferior to a Tarmac SL8 or a Velo Aero. But you can still, unless you have some genetic biomechanical thing where you need some like really extreme geometry or like a custom frame. Okay, that's one thing to look at. But for the average person, you can get into a good position if you buy the correct size frame on these bikes. So this is just a complete misdirection, because no one's sitting here arguing that a bike and it's an F1 bike. It's a freaking do-it-all. It's not an F1 bike. It's lighter than your bike. It's aerodynamically faster than your bike. Its stiffness to weight is better than your bike. This is just so weird. I just don't even understand this. Am I losing the plot? But it's so dumbed down. It's like, look, yeah, those bikes, they won't fit you. But you really, look, those are F1. I hate talking down to people like that. Yeah, get a bike that, sorry, I'm just repeating myself. Sorry, cut that bit. The number of people you see riding around in horrific positions on bikes they bought purely for the perceived benefit or street cred. No. Yeah, so they bought the incorrect size bike that doesn't fit them. Not the wrong category of bike. Like, don't blame a carbon bike because someone bought the wrong size. So that sentence makes no sense. In a race setting, something that has aero features, etc., is going to always get the nod, and low weights achieved by carbon process is hard to ignore when you are talking climbing, etc. Yeah, like anytime you go for a ride and there's a hill. That's literally riding your bike, unless you live in the Netherlands, in which case you want a more aerodynamic bike, which a carbon bike will be. So that doesn't make sense. But for the vast majority of us who just ride with mates and race at an amateur level, a well riding, yep, good carbon bikes ride well, confidence inspiring, okay, which is just a bike that fits you with the correct stem length so it handles well, which carbon bikes do. Perfect fitting bike, yeah, so get the correct size carbon bike and get a bike fit. Or maybe if you are on an extreme end, you might need a higher stack bike, shorter reach, whatever, cool, is going to be a better bike. Yeah. Why does that need to be steel?
Mm.
Even if it's X watts slower due to Aero. But again, so the steel bike person is trying to sell their bike by kind of like saying the carbon bike isn't suited to you. But that's not true. You're kind of saying, oh, look, that carbon bike doesn't suit that person because it doesn't fit them. Like, yeah, well, they should have bought the correct size. And I hate this with the steel bike people. It's like, if your frame properties are superior, make it go blow for blow in good faith with a carbon bike and say, and based on those reasons, you should buy it. Whereas this person, the guy saying, well, you should buy a steel bike because I saw some random guy on a carbon bike and it didn't fit him. What? What's that got to do with the price of fish? What I think gets lost in the discussion is what defines the best bike for someone. Because kind of saying gets lost in the discussion. It's like, haven't we already established that a bike should fit you? Can we move beyond that yet? Or how many times do we have to say the bike should fit you and get a bike fit and be comfortable? Do we need to put it on a poster and stick it there so that we can then actually talk about the meat and potatoes? Or does everything also then have to circle back to, well, it needs to fit you? Well, what is that?
That's sort of my issue with this, because I think it almost underplays. To me, a steel frame bike still has a really valuable place to sit in the market. Absolutely. But just to dumb it down to an argument of fit, I don't think in 2026 is good enough. And I also don't like the steel frame angle of, well, you don't need the carbon bike. That's just for pros. That's just they're just F1 bikes. Again, I don't think that does a disservice to what a steel frame bike is, because it is, let's just call it what it is. It's a vibe purchase.
Is it?
I think it's a vibe purchase, and that's perfectly fine. There'll probably be a moment in my life where I think, yeah, steel frame, Eddie Merckx, I'll just get into it. Vibe, fantastic. And there would arguably be a circumstance, if I spec it correctly, that there might be a nice little ride quality nod that I'll get on the steel frame, and that's fine. But I don't like the talking down to people saying that if you're not at a certain level, you shouldn't even consider carbon bikes. You're in a steel frame category. That never sits well with me personally. And, I know Sean, I know his bikes, I've ridden the bikes, they're fantastic. Great. I mean, look, I get the point, right? I mean, he's saying, we spent the first 20 minutes today talking about 3 watts this, 2 watts that. And he's saying that most people don't need to worry about that. They're not going to see the gains, the performance gains of that. And therefore, something like a steel frame bike will give you tangible features that you will appreciate more. I just struggle with the overarching idea of, well, you're not fit enough to therefore warrant that bike because your threshold's 200 watts, so therefore this wattage gain won't be enough for you. I mean, that doesn't sit necessarily well with me. I think we should all be able to play in that space if we want and talk about it.
But surely there's a selling point to a steel. Right now, if someone says, why should I buy a steel bike? I have no freaking idea. For vibe, which is not a performance reason. That's just
Could be.
fashion.
Might get you out at the door.
Or there's you're too special or you're too stupid to buy a correct size bike. This also makes no sense. And so buy a steel bike and somehow magically that will fit you better, as if you couldn't buy the incorrect size steel bike. Like, buying the correct size bike is a challenge, the same challenge no matter what it's made out of. Why does a steel bike magically fit you better? What does that even mean?
Well, I mean, in Sean's circumstance, because he will custom build the frame for you.
Okay. Go get a parlay or
Which will be a lot more expensive. But yes.
But that Fairlight wasn't custom geometry that we were talking about. That was an off the peg. So,
well, yes, they offered, yes.
or it's like, okay, well, we'll custom build it for you, in which case you've come for an analysis. Well, go get a bike fit. It's the same level of effort. So you should buy a bike fit because you're too stupid to get. You should buy a steel bike because you like the vibe, or you're too stupid to buy the correct size carbon bike. That's basically what I've been told here. Like, there's really no. Are you telling me you couldn't, in good faith, tell me the reasons why I should actually get a steel bike over a carbon bike besides those two reasons?
I can't come up with any.
Okay, right. No. Well, if I was someone that made a steel bike, I'd try to come up with something actually convincing other than you're stupid or you enjoy the vibe. That's where we're left.
Or you don't deserve it.
Or you don't, or you just don't need it because you're too slow.
Yeah, that's the one I like.
Yeah. So there's three. Yeah. That's the third reason. You're too slow.
You're too slow. Yeah.
Sorry, Devlin Cycles.
Links down below. Links down below to Sean's work. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Steel frame manufacturer in Brisbane.
Yeah.
Oh, this. Yeah. But yeah, the vibe thing. The vibe thing's all encompassing though, because it's a very tactile thing. Yeah.
But then just triple down on it. Just do what
yes.
Like basically what Standard do.
Yeah.
Just base. I mean,
Standard's
they'll claim,
got an Aero
it's
bike
the Aero. Yeah. Yeah, we're not going to go down there. They really. Oh man, why do this?
That's
overarching
Hail Mary is all I'll
fashion.
say.
Yeah, it's a vibe. Fashion
Absolute
choice.
Hail Mary from Standard.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, let's wrap it up, Jesse. What do you reckon? Okay. On that note, I think we've haven't sold any steel frames there. Okay. All right. We'll see everyone next week.
Chat to you then.
Bye now.